I've been wanting to learn to knit for years, and mostly I prided myself on just being too busy. Well, that all changed when I met my new friend, Nicole. You see, Nicole just gave birth to her 10th baby, and she's an accomplished knitter, so I don't have an excuse anymore. I invited Nicole over last week to teach me the basics of knitting, and she agreed to come back this week to share Knitting 101 with everyone. So everyone meet Nicole. I'm so glad you came over this afternoon. Tell me, how long have you been knitting?
4 years.
4 years, that's it?
Mm-hmm.
But you're so good at what you do.
Thank you.
So, and you've had a lot of practice because you've made things for each child.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the age ranges of your children?
There's 10 of them, and they are from 13 to 6 weeks.
13 to 6 weeks. Did you teach yourself to knit?
Self-taught knitter.
How do you do that? How did you do that?
Just did. My mother had a triple bypass in June 4 years ago, and I was determined to do that. And the day she was coming out of the hospital, I sat on the bed and taught myself.
With a book? I mean, there wasn't anything fancy about it, no class. You just
simple book.
Gosh, she's good, isn't she? Well, listen, let's get started. What did you bring to get us started? All right. And just work with me here. These are called
Straights.
Straights. As opposed to?
Circulars and double points.
Okay, so different types of needles for knitting. Okay, so you recommend straights to begin with. Okay. And the yarn, what do you recommend?
It's a bulky weight, and a light colored yarn is easiest to see. Your stitches.
Oh, okay, okay. All right, and then how do you go about just starting?
Your first thing, you have to make a slip knot.
Okay. Okay, now, from what you told me last week, the yarn that's connected to the ball is called what?
The working yarn.
The working yarn. And this is?
Just your extra cast on.
Just the end, okay. And then there were two types of knitting, two ways to knit. What were they called?
English and continental.
Okay, and what's the difference between the two?
One, you hold the working yarn in your right hand, and the other one you hold in your left hand.
So does it make a difference?
No.
It's whatever feels comfortable? Okay, so you knit the English way. Okay.
And it's throwing as well, too.
That's right.
Like
they call it throwing the yarn, right? Okay. So Nicole taught me how to knit in the English method, with the English method. But in the last week, I found it more comfortable. I found the working yarn tending to my left hand, so I guess I just kind of taught myself to use the continental because it just feels more comfortable. And we should also mention that it doesn't matter if you're right or left-handed, right?
No.
Okay, great. Okay, so what's next?
Okay, you cast them on. You hold the yarn. You go down, over, and then you hold this. You take your fingers here and you hold the working, all that yarn there. See that there? And then you go under, around, through, and off and pull tight.
Got it.
It's tricky. It's really tricky to hold your yarn. That's the most uncomfortable thing. Under, around, and through. And then off and tighten it.
And this is called casting on. And this will be your very first row of stitches. Okay.
So we're going to cast on 10, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, the shorter yarn in the front, the end.
Okay.
Goes in the front.
Okay. So Nicole has cast on 10 stitches. Now's a good time to take a look at our simple pattern. This is the pattern for a scarf. And you'll notice at the top it lists the materials that we need, which is going to be the size of the needles and the weight of the yarn. More on that later. Next is the gauge swatch. This is the size of the swatch that you can anticipate if you use the correct size needles and the yarn. Next, cast on 20 stitches loosely. So Nicole has cast on 20 stitches, so now it's time to start with our first row. The first row is knit 4, purl 4, knit 4, twice. So let's go back to Nicole. The first 4 stitches in the pattern call for the knit stitch. This is the knit stitch. Okay, and there's a rhyme that accompanies it too. Let's show them that, Nicole. In through the front door, once around the back, peek through the window, and off jumps Jack. Now, where's your working yarn for the knit stitch, Nicole?
In my right hand,
Okay.
under, on top, under, on top.
And it's in back of the needles. Okay, so when you're knitting, when you're using the knit stitch, your working yarn is in back. Okay, let's show them number 3 of the 4 knit stitches.
Okay.
In through the front door, once around the back, peek through the window, and off jumps Jack. All right, so number 4 of the knit stitch. Okay. Our next step in the pattern is the purl stitch, and we need 4 of those. There's no cute rhyme for the purl stitch, but what do we do for the working yarn?
You bring it to the front,
Okay.
so your yarn's in the front. And it's basically mirrored, but everything's different. Instead of going that way, you go that way. And in
Okay.
front.
Okay.
The needle's in front. And then around, then through the hole again, and off.
Great.
So under that way.
Okay. That's number 3. And number 4. Now's a good time to show the difference between the knit and the purl stitch.
The knit stitch will give you underneath here a V, and over here the purl stitch will give you a bump.
What is this cute little thing?
It's a gauge ruler. It will show you how many stitches per inch, both directions.
And why is that important?
Because the pattern will tell you how many stitches per inch and size needle.
Okay, so you wouldn't necessarily need that for like a scarf or a pillow,
Right.
but for something that's you need a certain size for, you do need to measure the stitches per inch. Okay, so what do you do if your size stitches per inch don't match what your pattern is telling you?
You go up or down a size needle.
And what will that do?
It will give you an
It'll-
idea of what you need.
I don't know these things. That's why she's here. Can't you tell? Show us the pattern that you're using.
This one calls for 3.5 stitches per inch.
Okay.
And 5 to 6 rows in stockinette.
Okay. And you're knitting this for your little girl. Oh, so cute.
It's a sheep.
You know, I love it. I love sheep. We finished our project, and now we need to bind off or cast off our stitches. And Nicole's going to help me do that. So, the first thing I do, Nicole, knit two stitches, right?
2 stitches on the right needle.
Okay. Okay, there's 1. And 2. Okay?
And then you want to take the one closest to you
Uh-huh.
over that one and off the needle.
Okay. So I take my left needle and get that 1 stitch over, and then which
And
does it
off. That one
comes
pops
off the left needle. So I just have the 1 stitch left. I go back and knit another stitch. Okay? And you can knit or purl cast off, right? And I'm knitting casting. Okay, so now I've got 2 stitches again. I do the same thing. So insert the left needle.
It's tricky.
Ooh, there you go. Okay, and then off the left needle. I'm doing this. Can't believe this. Okay, knit the stitch and off,
Oh, take that one off. There you go.
right?
Yep.
And then over.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to finish the edge of this little swatch that I worked so hard on last night. Loving it. When I first asked Nicole to teach me how to knit, she was so happy. She said she was only thrilled to pass along this time-honored tradition. She even said, "It's not your grandmother's knitting anymore, Tracy." And she's so right. I mean, if you go to any of the sheep and fiber festivals in your area, you'll be amazed at the processed wool and the variations of yarn you have to work with nowadays. And don't use my excuse. Find the time. It's easy and fun. We raise churro sheep, and the churro wool is more coarse and would result in a heavier skein of yarn to work with. So a lot of knitters actually prefer to work with blends or merino wool or yarn, which is what Nicole likes to work with. Nicole, walk us through what you brought here.
First, this was made for Celeste, little flower hat. It took me about a day to make.
A day. A day. And what about this?
A little romper. Knitted all in one piece from the top down, and 2 days to make.
And hats?
About 2 days.
Amazing. Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
coming
Thanks.
over. I'm
Thanks
sure it
for
won't be the
having
last
me.
time.
There's more.
There's more, yay!